Hello, I'm Piggy and welcome to my ultimate macro guide. If you've mastered the basics of combat in the finals, it's time to elevate your gameplay by diving into macro play. In this guide, I will go over essential macro strategies to help you dominate in the arena and control the flow of the match. Whether you play as a solo or as a part of the team, these advanced tactics will help you think like a pro. Let's get started. First of all, if you have no clue who I am, here are my credentials. I've been playing this game since closed beta 1 and reached diamond every single beta and season. As of recording this video, I'm currently ranked number 21, playing light only. Also, I've been pred in Apex if that says something. So, what is macro play? Macro play refers to the high-level strategic decision that impacts the course of the game. It involves map awareness, rotations, resource management, and team coordination. Next up, I want to talk about macro versus micro. Microplay focuses on individual skills like aiming, using your gadgets to the fullest potential, and it's just overall mechanics. While microplay focuses on broader strategies like controlling objectives and controlling space and understanding how to control space. I will talk about how to control space later in the video. So now I want to talk about understanding how vaults and cashouts work. On every map there are 2 vaults that spawn and 2 cashouts that spawn. Your job is to tap the vault and bring the money to the cashout and defend for 130 seconds. It seems simple at first, right? No. There's actually way more depth to this game mode than you would actually think there is. And what do I mean by that? You can manipulate the cashout and vaults. There are many ways to manipulate the cashout and put it in places it's not supposed to be in. A lot of you have probably already seen the goo strategy on Green Bridge on Seoul, where you put goo on the bridge, then the cashout on the moving platform drops so you can defend it from hospital. Manipulating where the cashout is allows you to control more space and make opponents play into your strategy. Let's take Green Bridge as an example. It's super hard to push teams playing hospital when both crane and bridge is broken. And the cashout is in the middle of the green bridge, meaning it's almost free to hold. I also mentioned vaults. There's only one class that can manipulate vaults, and that is the light class with the gateway. A lot of people don't really understand what TPing the vault does, and that's what I want to talk about next. And what I want to talk about next is actually Cashout Tempo. You probably see it a lot, well, not a lot, but some lines TP the vault instantly to the cashout. And there's a super good reason to why they do it. Fun fact, I was one of the first people that discovered this tech. The main reason for TPing the vault or speedrunning the vault to the cashout is to create a tempo advantage on the map. What do I mean by that? So let's say you deposit the money in the cashout super quickly while you're already defending the cashout and chilling. The other teams are fighting to try and deposit their vault into the cashout. This creates a tempo advantage. And why is this so bad for the other teams, you might ask? So if your cashout is at 50% and the other team's cashout just started, this means your team has the chance to effectively third party the other cashout. You never want to be the team defending against 3 teams. The chances of you losing the game skyrockets if you lose tempo in the match. That's why creating tempo is so important in this game. Now let's say you're super slow and you can't deposit super fast and the other team is already cashing out. You should not, I repeat, you should not deposit the money into the other cashout, because what's gonna happen then? Yes, you have to defend against 3 teams and you have a high chance of losing it. It's what I just talked about. If the other cashout is at like 25%, you can deposit the money. But if it's around like 50%, you should not depot. So what should you do instead? You should either A, toss the money away and fight for the ongoing cashout, or B, bring the money to double stack. This basically eliminates the fact that you're gonna get third partied by the other cashout when they're done. So let's say you toss the money away and you want to go fight for the ongoing cashout. Basically what's gonna happen is the other teams are probably gonna fight for the same cashout as you. That doesn't really matter because you have another shot later. Like let's say you're fighting, right, and another team decides to go deposit the vault you just threw away. Then you have another chance at fighting for 10k, which is gonna eliminate the fact that you have to defend against 3 different teams. And let's say the vault you just threw away is not deposited yet into the cashout. You should not go for the 10k, you should go for the 15k because that's a lot more value. And you should try and deposit the 15k at the same time as the 10k gets deposited. Because once again, that eliminates the fact that you have to deal with 3 different teams. Or if the 10k vault is like super slow, you can probably create a tempo advantage there again by depoting the money before the other teams. And that's pretty much everything you need to know when it comes to tempo and game pace. Next up, I want to talk about objective control and positioning. A lot of people that play this game play it like they're playing team deathmatch, when in reality this game is based on the cashouts and collecting money. That's why you should always prioritize objectives over kills. A good example of this is, for example, if you kill 2 people when fighting the first vault, you should instantly go for the cashout with the vault instead of fighting. I've seen so many people drag out the first fight when the first fight doesn't really matter. All you care about is the money. And why is this important? Getting the cashout first allows you to set up the cashout and establish control of the cashout. And like we talked about earlier, it creates a tempo advantage. And how do you prepare the cashout? Well, you pretty much just make holes in the walls, you take space around the cashout, you break crane, you prepare C4 in the cashout. Like you just set everything up so once the enemies come, you are just fully prepared and are ready to fight them. And you manipulate the cashout like I talked about earlier. And that brings me to the next topic. How do you actually use space to control the cashout? What I mean by using space is you should play around the cashout and fight before enemies even get close to the cashout. I've seen a lot of teams that just hurdle in a corner with barricades and let enemies get close and take your space for free. When in reality, you should make sure you poke and try to deny them the freedom of walking towards the cashout for free. And once they take the space you're holding, you walk back towards the cashout and try and deny the steal. So I pulled up Paint for this example. This is a map layout of Seoul, and let's say there's a cashout right here underneath below the point, like all the way at the bottom. And you want to deny the enemies from taking that space. So for example, there's going to be teams spawning like in this area. There's going to be teams spawning here and maybe back here, right? With that knowledge, we know that they might come this way. So we try and deny them. First of all, we can close this bridge off, or like make it go up. Same with this bridge. Then we deny entry points, and we break the zip, because there's a zip line that goes like this. We break this zip as well. There's a zip line here as well. You also break this zip. And where should you be holding? You should not sit on the point below and be AFK. You break the roof, so you have access from high ground. High ground is really important here. You want high ground always. So on this billboard, you can sit here and here. Now we have information across the map. Now I can watch this area. Now I can watch this area. And if your teammate says they're coming right side, for example, then I know, as for example a light player or medium player, I should rotate to my teammate that is holding. We start poking them. As soon as they land in this area, you start shooting them and poking. And if they try and come here, you start nade spamming or shoot them. And if they manage to cross and go inside, you let them walk. And if they try and steal, you are always on high ground. You're going to be on high ground still. And you can just shoot them for free, once again. It's all about taking height and taking control of like all the space. So essentially, you're taking control of this entire area of the map. And let's say there's a cashout going on in like hospital, like right here. Most of the time, people don't really contest this, so you have to expect multiple teams, because it's really hard to pull like cross hospital, because people just blow up this bridge and blow up this crane. Right, so the only option is to walk across this bridge here. So what you have to be worried, like what you have to do is like just keep poking. As soon as someone tries to steal, you start contesting the point. And once you stop contesting, you have to expect one more team, for example. You always have to expect more teams, depending on like the map layout. And that's essentially how you take control of, like, how you control space. You should always be looking and poking and just scouting. You never want to be on point, sitting in one spot. Never, ever. And that is a good example of how to control space. Hopefully you understood something and learned from it. Yeah. Lastly, I want to talk about team coordination and communication. So basically with team coordination, you need to establish clear roles and responsibilities within your team. So for example, who is the IGL and who should prioritize the vaults and who is preparing the cash out. Use callouts and pings to convey info quickly and effectively. Play together. This kind of depends on what team comp you're running. But as a golden rule, always stick with your team and push as a team. It's way better to do something dumb together rather than one person doing something dumb alone. Because sometimes the dumb things can work if you are together. Now about communication. Keep communication concise and focus on relevant information. An example of this can be who is low and who should you focus, and is a medium out of position. Offer constructive feedback to help your team improve. This is something people might take as flaming, but if you want to improve, listening to feedback on what you're doing wrong helps a lot in the long run. When I was super bad at FPS games, I would inhale a lot of information on things I did wrong, and that's how I become a good player. And that's about everything I can teach you about macro and how to like actually play the game at a high level. I was gonna talk about griefing, but I don't think that's really necessary, but maybe it's a topic for another video. leave a like and hit the sub button. I'm live on Twitch also every day, so go follow me. Thank you. Bye bye. Love you all. Bye.